On the east side of the Adriatic Sea lies an amazing country loaded with coastline and some of the clearest water on Earth. Croatia begs to be explored, especially along the water. But where would you even begin? Well, I've made it easy for you as I've compiled my top 15 coastal destinations in Croatia, and we're going to go through them one by one, from north to the south. So sit back, grab a coffee, and click that subscribe button for me while we enjoy Croatia's finest places. Starting us off up in Istria County is number 1, Novigrad. Here is where we'll get our first taste of a couple recurring themes throughout the video. Red-tiled rooftops on every building and the clearest water you can find. Also known as Novigrad Istarski, to distinguish it from the 3 other Croatian towns of the same name, Novigrad is small but mighty. A small old town on an outcropping offers a great place to wander, eat, and explore for your first taste of Croatia. A beautiful stone promenade also allows for a great place to dip your toes in the clear water and really soak up the small town feel. Next up at number 2 is Rovinj, and boy, this place is cool. Our first real fishing port, Rovinj is a place to enjoy the sights and sounds of Croatian life. With tightly crowded buildings and cobblestone streets that always end at the water, you can easily lose yourself within the local atmosphere. The streets and alleys are all tangled together and twist their way under arches, up worn-out stairs, past restaurants and cafes, all leading to the towering St. Euphemia Cathedral, which is without a doubt the town's main draw. Climbing the 61-meter-tall campanile provides the best views of the entire town, the port, and even some of the 14 islands of the Rovinj archipelago, where you can easily find a beach that serves you whatever you desire. Before leaving, spending an afternoon at the port will be an absolute requirement. Watching the local fishermen work, wandering the dock, taking in the beautiful painted houses, and eating at one of the many restaurants and cafes are all on the menu, and should be enjoyed to the fullest. Down to the tip of the Istrian Peninsula for number 3, and Pula is gonna surprise you. A bit bigger than the last 2 entries, I'm gonna get right into why this made the list. The Roman ruins that scattered the city. Romans and Venetians once occupied the city, and it's been rebuilt multiple times, and it has remnants of history dating back thousands of years. The main square, or forum, offers the best starting point with the Gate of Hercules, the Arch of Sergei, and the Temple of Augustus, which is over 2,000 years old. But I'm sure you've already noticed by now the most Roman part of the city is on full display, with the Pula Arena, and you can't miss it. Right on the water, the arena offers shows, an underground museum, and tours of one of the most complete Roman arenas in the world. Truly not something I was expecting to see in Croatia. Number 4 takes us a bit further down to the Dalmatian coast with Zadar. Also known for having some incredible Roman and Venetian ruins in its old town, Zadar once again provides some amazing city architecture and planning, with the old town sitting on a peninsula, something you'll find quite common in Croatia. Sitting within the old town is again another Roman forum where you can wander throughout history. The St. Donatus Church that is a place of pride for Zadar, and the St. Anastasius Cathedral, all offering a great afternoon stroll for some exploration. I think probably the coolest place in the city is at the very tip of the old town. Here you'll find 2 art installations by the same architect that draw a crowd of people every day and night. The sea organ is the first of its kind in the world, consisting of large marble steps leading into the water with tubes below that offer musical notes generated by the waves that break underneath. And the greeting to the sun is a 22-meter circle that absorbs the sun's energy throughout the day and releases it in a graphical display when it starts to get dark. This place would be great to relax and just enjoy the beautiful view over the water. Taking up the number 5 spot is Pirovac. This quaint little town is an amazing place that I just wanted to throw in here because it's exactly what most of the coast of Croatia is all about. Many places have famous ruins and attractions, but there are countless towns like this that just offer that traditional Croatian seaside feel with a small town to wander around and grab an afternoon bite. These are the areas that locals visit to spend the day at the beach and get away from the larger port towns that line the Croatian coast. Number 6 is just 27 kilometers south of Pirovac, and that is Šibenik. Known as the gateway to the Kornati Islands, and also doubling as the city of Primošten in the Game of Thrones show, which is a pretty cool title to have. The city is starting to get a little more modernized, but trust me, the old town still reigns number 1 in the what to see in Šibenik list. The The Old Town actually boasts the most stairs in Croatia as it's built going up a hill, which garnered the nickname the City of Stairs. Winding stone streets and a fantastic waterfront give tourists a lovely place to spend the afternoons, while the St. James Cathedral, which is the crown jewel of the city, offers a great place for a morning visit. Built over the course of a century and adorned with over 70 unique face carvings on the outside, the cathedral is a must-see. For your vantage points, take in a couple of the city's fortresses, with St. Michael's being the oldest and located right in Old Town. See if you can get tickets to an outdoor show on the roof while you're taking in the great vistas. And if you want to see the entire city, wander a little further up to Barone Fortress and you won't be disappointed. Stairs aren't the best for wandering, but the view from the top in this city sure does make it worth it. Number 7 is set aside for Primošten. Located in the heart of Dalmatia, Primošten is most definitely known for its amazing old town, which you can't miss. And I think we're starting to see a trend here with old towns and peninsulas, don't you say? Now this is a town that I could get used to. Known for having very little rainfall during the year, Primošten has established itself as one of the best tourist destinations due to the layout of their waterfront, and this experience starts at the stone gate to enter the old town. Once through, you'll find loads of amazing restaurants, cafes, and nice little boutiques that'll keep you busy until reaching the St. George Church at the top of the hill. Just walking around the streets is by far enough to sell me on a trip here, but the peninsula right next to Old Town seals the deal for me. Directly opposite is another peninsula that offers perfect resorts all lined on a beautiful beach, which doesn't sound super exciting, that is until you lay down and look at your view of the Old Town as the sun sets in the evening. Honestly, if I were counting down my favorite coastal destinations rather than from north to south, this would have to be in my top 3. Number 8 is reserved for the biggest city on this list, Split. Occupying its own peninsula, Split is often regarded as being just as cool as Dubrovnik, so clearly it has a lot going for it, but later you'll see why it's a lot different. Offering a great starting and ending point for your travels, with easy access to major travel opportunities, Split might seem more modern, but once you get a good look at the ancient city center, you'll be pleasantly relieved. And really, this is where I'd spend my days. Of course, you get your typical old town amenities like restaurants, stone streets, pleasant alleys, and the best atmosphere around, but here you'll also be treated to some of the most ancient relics in the country. The entire area is Diocletian's palace and has Roman streets cutting through around every corner. The cathedral located smack in the middle dates to 350, making it the oldest in the world, and the neighboring Campanile next to it awards a fantastic view of the city that can't be rivaled. And without missing a beat, Split has Piazza Square, where you can tend to your favorite Old Town Square activities, and also Peristyle Square, which is the original Roman court and looks straight out of a movie. Like I said, Split would be a fantastic starting point on Croatia's coast. Number 9 is a double whammy with Trogir and Omiš. I really wanted to throw these ones in here too because they really exemplify how cool Croatia's coast really is. They will ultimately build a town literally anywhere, and Trogir is a good example of this, that it makes use of the mainland, a giant island a stone's throw away, and with its very own old town on another small island in between. Why not, hey? And Omiš is a world different, with the town built on the mouth of a river and almost looking like it goes directly into the mountain. Pretty amazing places to see and definitely worth a stop on your way to some of the more popular places along the coast. A third of the way through at number 10 is Brac Island. Certainly worth a visit. With regular ferries out of Split, you'll be welcomed in the main town of Supetar. With buildings downtown a lot more spaced out than the cramped old town so far, Supetar offers a perfect starting point to explore the island and enjoy the town's white pebble beach right off the harbor. A lot of Croatia's white limestone is taken from the island's quarry and has become a famous fixture in many pieces of architecture. A trip to the outer side of the island to the resort town of Bal is, I think, what you'd be looking for here. A lovely little town sloping down the hill into the water with the island's most popular beach, Zlatni Rat, just a touch outside the town. Here you'll find plenty of beachgoers and windsurfers, so expect a more laid-back feel here, something the island definitely provides. In at number 11 is Makarska. Not as historic as some of the other entries on the list, Makarska makes up for it with its unmatched Riviera beaches and crystal clear water, making it one of the top vacation destinations in the country. Backdropped by the imposing Biokovo mountain, the lovely views from around this town really mark why this is a place to remember. This is a perfect spot to call home base for your Dalmatian Riviera vacation, with easy access to Brac Island via ferry, and only minutes from quaint little villages like Brela, Bashka, Voda, or Igrain, which offer some incredible places to stay. When in town, visits to the Old Town Square and the Forest Park's Veti Patar, a peninsula coming out in front of the town, offering the best views in the entire town and mountain, complete with a lighthouse and bathing places, are both absolutely a must. Hiking the mountain and exploring the water are two of the best things you can do here. Skipping out off the coast on yet another island, Hvar takes the number 12 spot. Located on an island of the same name, Hvar is one of the best port towns you can find in Croatia and also boasts some of the best summer resorts around. Being down to the waterfront is the top place to be here, with plenty of boats coming and going and a lovely promenade to stroll along. Not to mention that the town's heartbeat starts right here, with St. Stephen's Square. The largest in the Dalmatian region, it offers lovely architecture, cafes, restaurants, and access to the centerpiece, St. Stephen's Cathedral, that is the place to be in the evening when the sun goes down. Heading out on the water to visit the Pakleni Islands, just at the mouth of the harbor, is always on the table if you're searching for a secluded beach day, and if you're looking for exercise, climbing the stairs to the Spaniola Fortress provides a rewarding experience with the perfect views of the Adriatic Sea, the town, and everything in between. Truly an amazing place to enjoy the sunset. Keeping with port towns, number 13 fits the bill perfectly with Komiža. Located even further off the coast of Hvar, we find the island of Vis, and the lovely fishing village of Komiža is nestled right on the westernmost side. With only about 1,500 residents, this place is about as quaint as you can get, and the minute you either sail into port or drive over the hills, you'll see why. Located at the bottom of Hum Hill, Komiža really doesn't have a crazy list of attractions, but the remoteness of it is its big draw. Slowly turning into a beach resort town, visitors are easily sent to a place of relaxation as soon as they get here. A short walk covers the whole town, with a great clock tower, 16th and 17th century Venetian houses, and of course an old castle turned fishing museum down on the water. Trekking up to the Church of St. Nicholas will provide a stunning view of the whole bay and give you a sense of just how small this village is. Definitely a place to get away from it all. Almost there, with Korčula hitting the number 14 spot. This town is located on another island of the same name and again takes full advantage of the land and peninsulas that it's built on. By far, and you can see the recurring theme with me, is that the old town is where it's at, and here it basically is the entire town. The old town here is like going into a different world. Completely surrounded by old stone walls and pedestrianized streets, meaning no looking both ways to cross any road, the old town is about as amazing as it gets. The restaurants and cafes here are second to none, and even having a bar on top of a 15th century tower where your drinks arrive with a pulley system. Pair that with the amazing view of the bluest water around, and I can't think of a better evening cocktail. With a center street dubbed as the main drag and a fish skeleton layout with all the side alleys jutting out from it, the old town is easily navigated and can be made easier by climbing the St. Mark's Cathedral bell tower in the middle, which provides a great place to get your bearings. I'm gonna say it again, I love old towns, and this one is easily at the top of my list. Something to consider before planning a trip to the more well-known towns. Finally, number 15 and the furthest south on my list, Dubrovnik takes the cake for so many reasons. With the old town of old towns, Dubrovnik is certainly near the top of my travel list to begin with, and it's fair to say that most people would think the same. Used as the backdrop for so many scenes from Game of Thrones, the red-tiled rooftops and jam-packed old town provided the perfect King's Landing. Visiting here will easily require multiple days because there's loads to see and do, and you really don't want to rush things. It takes at least an hour just to walk around the old town walls that loom so high above the water below, and you may not notice it, but the streets do have some slope to them, making for a good workout if anything. Views from Mount Surge, some 412 meters above the city, are easily enjoyed via the cable car and offer a great way to enjoy the morning. While checking out the Lovrijanec fort behind the old town would be a nice visit after lunch. However, clearly your main focus starts at the water with the St. John Fortress that protects the port and is actually part of the wall as well. And multiple strolls down the plaza or main street that's paved with limestone is what this place is all about. Lined with grand houses and restaurants, you can enjoy the afternoon and evening every day you're here, as well as having the best jumping point to check out the Dubrovnik Cathedral, Sponza Palace, the Clock Tower, and of course the Church of St. Blaise that looks straight out of a movie set. Wandering the streets here and discovering the many hidden gems is by far the best thing to do in the city, which is why it still reigns top of my Croatian list. Fair to say Croatia's coast is about as amazing as it sounds, and these 15 places are just the tip of the iceberg, so I can't wait to look at more in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and keep watching more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching.